welcome to Empress Collective. I'm Janine Howard, and we've had a lot of new members joining us over the past couple of weeks. So welcome to you. Also, huge hello again to all of our members who've been with us for such a long time. Some of you have turned into clients, some have turned into friends. So it's been just such a beautiful community that we've created here at Empress Collective. And even though sometimes I'm not always showing up, so I've really determined to show up on a regular basis for you because I see the times they are a-changing. Now, it's no news to you that times are really turbulent, really chaotic at the moment. I actually believe that the times that we're living in right now have the greatest possibility ever for you to actually own your soul-aligned gifts and to really create a business that not only has a big impact on the world and raises consciousness, if you want to go that big, but actually has a really big impact on you personally, on your family. So today, I guess I wanted to kind of introduce myself and give you an overview of the business that I've created and my 3 main steps of how I've built a multi-6-figure business. We're on track to be doing 7 figures, sometime within the next 12 months, hopefully shorter, but we've got a great plan. I've got great mentors and really great support. And so for me at the moment, it really starts with showing up more for you, because for me to hit where I want to be in business and life, it's actually about serving you first and foremost, so you can actually go next. And follow my footsteps. So today I'm going to talk about how I personally, so I'm not making this like a generic thing, this is literally how I have created a multi-6-figure business, working from home, often working less than part-time hours. In fact, I often have 1 whole week off, which is called my flex week, and how I've been able to retire my husband. He's actually been able to live out his dreams of an actor and helping raise our kids. And, we actually homeschool our children, which I'll get to that. It's not actually homeschooling, so we do unschooling. But let me walk through just a bit of background first so that you can see that anyone can literally do what I have done. I am not special, I'm not different, all of the things. So back in 2013, when I had my first baby, Jack, at that time, I was running a very large, a very busy magazine publishing business. I had all of the full-time staff. I had the gorgeous office with, the white chandelier and the furniture and all of the things. It was just, my dream office. So I had it all happening. However, when I had my first son, which had actually been a challenge to get to that point, everything became insignificant. So everything that I had thought that was important, like having an amazing office and having a big team and, having a really large profile myself and showing up and doing all of the parties and the champagne and canapes, all of that was completely insignificant. And so it was really a moment for me to reassess how it was that I wanted to live my life. And so before we get into the pillars, this is kind of, pillar number 1, if you want to call it, let's go pillar A, was I made a conscious decision to do something different. And by the way, if you can hear snoring, that's my dog. Okay. So I made a conscious decision to do something different. And so I had a raw discussion with my husband and said to him, okay, well, look, if you were to do anything different in your life, like what would you do? And at the time he was working for the government. He had what, they often termed a safe as houses job. And he said, I want to be an actor. I want to do that full time. I want to pursue that. And I was like, tops, right. What do we need to do for that to happen? And so I made a decision to sell off my business, which was amazing because it gave us choice and freedom and cash flow. And we actually moved from the Sunshine Coast to Melbourne. Obviously, Melbourne a little bit more of the acting hub than Sunshine Coast at the time. So we did that. So decision. We absolutely made a decision on how we wanted to live our life, what we wanted to get rid of. Because when you say yes to something, you also say no to something else. So I was committed to to say the no's if I had to. That was my business. That was my team. I actually sold everything off. We moved out of our house, the community we're in, everything. So then I want to walk you through some literal practicals, like how did we get to that point that we, that I actually created this business. So I have been an entrepreneur for some time. So I started my magazine business in 2008. At the very start of 2008, hello, GFC came along quite quickly, but I got through it. So I'm very resilient as well. But I wasn't available for that kind of lifestyle anymore. It was, deadline every week, every day, every month had deadlines. So I really took some time, Coco story. I really took some time to go through our values. What is it that we wanted to, how did we want to live? Did I want to work much? No. So I started with, I only wanted to work 2 or 3 days a week because I had an 8-month-old baby. We wanted to have it so that my husband also had flexibility to, go for an audition the next day if he needed to, or go be on set for the whole next week. So I needed to have flexibility in my business too, that if I needed to drop everything, I could. So when we first started, when I first started my coaching business, I really did start with this first pillar. And, if you are new in your coaching or consulting business, I invite you to write these down. If you are looking to scale, I invite you to write these down, because business is business, and you're at different stages sometimes. So pillar number 1 is what I needed to do was create, and forgive me, I'm just looking at my notes here, an absolutely hot offer. Now, I know that sometimes this doesn't sound like rocket science, but if you don't get your offer right, then you don't have anything. And if you try and skip to the next step too quickly, that's where you'll find a disconnect and you'll find it harder to get clients. So what do I mean by a hot offer? So when I was thinking about what gifts do I have that someone would pay for, to be honest, what gifts do I have that someone would pay for? So I looked back through my career, and my career had always been in sales, and it always had been in marketing. So having been in tourism sales prior to magazines, I had a natural gift for being able to talk, right? So I was like, it'd be great if I got paid to just talk, right? And, coaching is you get paid to talk, and obviously your insights and so forth. So I was like, right, let's do something where I get paid to talk. That is like a gift that I have. And not just talk, but my way of speaking has always been to listen really to other people and pull out from them, really connect with them. So that was the magic quality that sales had with me. I was able to really be present with each person, that whether it's I'm selling a magazine ad to, or whether I'm, encouraging them to send people along to my, tourism attraction. It was never about the product, right? It was never about the magazine. It was never about the wildlife sanctuary that I worked at. It was actually about the person. So pulling out from them and being able to connect with them, and then being able to communicate back to them what it was I was hearing was their problem, and what it was I was hearing was what they wanted. And so by doing these two things, what it is that was their problem, their pain, what it is that they wanted, their solution, I filled the gap. What I call this gap between, what people want and where they're currently at, you can call it, pain island, pleasure island, and, you're the boat between, it's the problem gap, all of that. What I call that gap is the 6-figure problem. What I mean by that is I was able to work out what someone's 6-figure problem was, and then I would be the solution. So going back to my coaching business, the hot offer I looked at from all of my years of sales and marketing experience was I looked at many people have absolutely no idea how to do sales and marketing in their business. They start a business and they're, perhaps great at what they do. And so, for example, it might be an interior designer, right? They're like might be the best interior designer. However, they've never really had to do their own marketing and their own sales. So then I was easily able to go and fill that gap with my marketing sales knowledge. But one more step than that, I was able to communicate with that person clearly, like extracting out of them clearly where their problem is. Because if you can't show people that they have a problem, and forgive my language with all of this, but just for clarity today, if you can't show people what their problem is, like give them an awareness of that, you've got nothing. So we have to show that. Now, I'll show you in future trainings, we never sell with fear or pain. So there's another way of selling, but we've got to communicate that. We've got to extract out of them so they can see, oh, I'm a brilliant interior designer, but I don't know what I don't know. And then why is that a problem? So, for example, I'm able to communicate with that, particular interior designer. If you don't know how to do marketing, then you don't have leads. If you don't have leads, then you can't do sales. And if you don't know how to do sales, then you may have a whole bunch of leads and not be able to convert them. Again, I'm just using very marketing language just for simplicity today. It's actually not how I roll when we train our clients, but just for simplicity, you need to know how to market and sell your business, or you've got nothing, right? You might get a few referrals and all of that, but it runs out. So then you've got to be able to communicate the transformation. So this creates the gap. So if you can clearly show someone where perhaps they're going wrong and where they actually can be, and show them how that can either make them six figures or save them six figures, then the gap becomes really wide, and you can come in and be the how of how they can actually solve that six-figure problem. So think about this. If you are a relationship coach, you're actually saving people six figures, because, divorce is very costly, and separation, and, counseling fees and all of the things, you can actually put a tangible on it. So I say to my clients, even if you're in health or relationships, you can actually still make things tangible. So you can actually show people, hey, look, I can actually save you like $100,000. If you work with me, we'll also save you all of that heartache and pain and all of the things, etc. With the interior designer, for example, we can actually help her make six figures with my solution, with my services. So it becomes a no-brainer. So going back to number one, you must have a hot offer. The hot offer must solve a six-figure problem, whether in the school of money, the school of health, or the school of relationships. I remember a mentor once put it like that. If you think you're in business for all sorts of different things, you're actually only ever in business for one of these three things. You only either help people make money or save money. You either help people with their relationships, or you help people in health. So, working out which one of those areas and creating a really hot, easily sellable offer is absolutely number one. Without that, the rest, you don't have it, or it's super hard. So that's what I did. I worked out how to use my magic, my sales and marketing experience, and help women entrepreneurs grow their revenue in their business. Pretty simple, right? So I was able to easily make six figures in my first year as a business coach. Now, just because I was a business coach doesn't mean that it can't work for you if you're, a health coach, a healer, relationship coach, a self-love coach, nothing like that. Everyone can either help you find six figures or save six figures. So that's number one, have an absolute hot offer. Number two was I took my business, like this is really about how I scaled. I took my business from one-on-ones to groups relatively early. So when a lot of women come to me and they're first starting out in their coaching or consulting business, they want to do one-on-one, right? They're like, oh, I have to do the one-on-one thing first and nail that. And then when I've got more people, I can go to a group. Maybe. I wish that I had gone to groups actually even earlier. And here's why. When you're first starting out, yes, go and work with people one-on-one. I think that's amazing because you really get your confidence. You start getting, it's easier to sell, to be honest, because you're dealing with one person's problems, their specific problem, their specific pleasure. Um, so you get to deal, you'll hear the same things over and over again. You'll start seeing patterns in what, are their problems and what they're wanting. But I did it, even though I did it relatively early on, and I say that's probably year 3 of my coaching business that I went to groups. I wish I had have done it earlier. And it's because one-on-one is actually very time consuming. I only wanted to work 2 or 3 days a week. And by the time I served, say I was serving 10 clients a week, and I used to do a weekly session with them, it was actually quite heavy. And then I didn't have a huge amount of time for marketing. When I actually moved out of one-on-one and moved into a group scenario, instantly there was a whole heap of benefits. So instead of coaching 10 women in 10 separate hour phone calls during the week, I then was able to do 1 hour phone call with 10 women. That saved me a whole heck of time. And the benefit for the clients was that they actually got community. They actually learnt, interestingly enough, faster than what they did when I coached them privately, because they could see themselves in the other women. They could go, oh, I didn't even know I had that problem, like Mary. Wow. And here is how Mary moved through it. So it really gave such momentum and such community. And, obviously for me, was, a lot more time freedom. So back in those days, I was still doing some one-on-ones and some groups. So people would obviously pay a higher rate to work with me privately. And then I started merging it. So I'm like, you can do the group and the one-on-one. So, instead of you just become a one-on-one client or you're a group, merging them together. So people would pay obviously a higher fee to work in the group and privately. And, as things went on, and I'll talk about number 3 in a moment, is as time went on, I actually started dropping off the one-on-one coaching and going more and more to groups. So I actually ended up having 2 group coaching programs, one that was for newbies who were just starting out their business, and then a higher level mastermind for people who really wanted to go to that multiple 6, 7 figures. So then I ended up only working 2, say an hour and a half for one call and an hour for another. So I was able to scale back that my coaching days now, it's 1 day a week, right? And I'm able to serve my clients because I am energized, I am fulfilled, I am on purpose. And then what we've actually done, to be honest with you, I've actually brought in teams. So that's number 3. If you really want to scale things, you bring in team. When to bring in team? Actually, I should really check see if anyone's commenting below. Comment below. Before we go to team, comment below. Where are you at in terms of your business? Are you doing one-to-one, or have you scaled to group? Let me have a look here. Of your business, are you doing? Let me turn myself down. Okay, so some people, doing one-on-one. And here's the thing, when someone tells you that that's the way that you have to do it, and so you go, well, that's what the possibility is. And then someone like me comes along and goes, well, actually, do you really need to do one-on-one straight up? Let me just have a read this. Rebecca says, I love the concept that if I want clients to pay me for my expertise, then I need to show up and hire others for their expertise to grow my business too. So that's going into number 3. So absolutely, when we think that we have to do everything ourselves, we get really stuck in this old way of being and this old way of doing. Whereas the real game changer, is number 3 for me, the real game changer is when I started hiring team, and I hired other coaches that often had worked with me, right? So they'd actually already done my programs. They knew my style of how I coach and how I, like things to happen and my philosophies. And I actually got them to start adding in extra calls for my clients. So then my clients get this amazing community of not just their peers, getting coached together, and that real sisterhood, that real gorgeous community, which, you know, as a frequency, it gets very activated and can lift someone up when they're feeling down, and vice versa. You know, everyone kind of comes in this gorgeous pool together. And then the heavy lifting can actually be done by some of my other coaches, so that I don't feel like I have to be all for all of my clients. So we now have, we've introduced, say, a mindset and energy call for my clients. So we've got a gorgeous expert who does that. We've got a marketing strategy call with one of my gorgeous women who, Cara Stott, has worked with me for years and years and years through my magazines. She's more expert in, you know, funnels and Facebook ads and all of those things than I am. So we bring her expertise in so that she can help our clients really scale. And I had to give up this notion that I had to know everything, right? Who here thinks that they have to know everything, right? It's a big trap that if you think that, oh my God, I've got to go learn another skill, I've got to go do another course, I've got to up level, you don't have to do anything. You can actually bring in these amazing experts into your team, and they can actually support you as well as your clients. So, you know, in our group program, so we've got our high-end Empress program, which most of our clients come into first. It's a 6-week intensive container. We walk them through these steps. We walk them through, number one, making sure they've got such a hot offer. Number two, that they can communicate that 6-figure problem to their potential clients, so they get people to actually pay them for their worth. And number three, then we get them to move into team in the next level program, which is our $1 Million Empress program. By the way, recently branding up level. So this is our Legacy Women Collective Mastermind, which we've been having, it's been going for quite a few years. We're actually rebranding that to $1 Million Empress, just to really fit this new frequency that we're all in, this new energy, and really going for it. And interestingly, we actually have women in my coaching group who earn over $1 million. So why not? So from today's training, so those 3 shifts that I made to be able to scale my business to, this is just the coaching business, by the way. This is not my magazine business. Our magazine business actually earned us multiple 7 figures over the years. So we did extremely well there. But the cost for me, with my time, with my stress levels, with my relationship, all of that, I just was not available for anymore. So moving into coaching and using my gifts and talents of being able to just talk, be able to extract from people what their pain and pleasure was, be able to show them the next step, the transformation for them, and then really use my business now to make this not just me, a guru, in my coaching business, but bringing team together has been absolutely the shifts to get me there. And these are the shifts now that will take us to 7 figures. So we'll be looking at doing 100K months as soon as we can. We've started, most of you probably come in through Facebook ads at the moment. So we're really scaling up big. And I couldn't do that if I didn't have team. Right, so I've got a team that looks after the ads. I've got a team that looks after the copy. I've got a team that looks after client support. I've got the other coaches that look after the clients with me, so that I can really show up in all areas, but also not work much. I'm just not available to sacrifice my time to my family. So right now, actually, it's quite funny. My kids are on school camp. So I'm like, oh my God, got to get some stuff done. Right? So my husband and I are going away. We're going on a yacht for a couple of nights, which is super awesome. So we're getting some of our time, but normally we've got the kids with us. So we do have the kids at home a lot of the time. We unschool them or free school them, if you want a label, which means it's very play-based. You know, they get to play, they get to be kids, they get to, you know, trust themselves that they will learn what they need to learn. It's a whole other Facebook Live. I get a lot of questions about like how do you do that? But we do it. And yeah, we do it with grace and ease. So comment below. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. Most of you, if you want us to actually send you this, as well in your messenger. Pop a little replay link down, just say replay, and we'll do that. And if you are interested in what we do, like we do things very differently. We have very masculine structures that we give our clients that are very simple, and they create this really beautiful foundation. And then everything else is this real feminine frequency, the missing link in, I believe, most coaching programs. So I actually believe it's 90% is this beautiful feminine energy, and we do DNA recodes and activations and abundance activations, crazy stuff. It sounds great, but it's what works, right? And if it works, who am I to judge? So if you're interested in finding out a little bit more, myself and my team can send you some info. Just comment below Empress, or drop a gift that shows that you're an Empress. Because our programs, as I said, are high-end Empress, where we take you through remodeling your business, taking it to, the highest level quality transformation that you could give a client, and obviously get paid your worth for it. And then obviously most people move over into our $1 Million Empress program. So if that's you, comment below Empress, and myself and the team will get some info to you. So thanks for joining me today. Great to have you. We're back. We'll be live each Thursday. I'll work out a consistent time just while I get my schedule rejigged to do this for you. But yeah, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week on Thursday. Ciao.